Hello, cosmic beings. Welcome to Being Cosmic. If this is your first time here, welcome. And if you are returning, welcome back. I'm so glad that all of you are here. So the format of this reading is going to be, we're going to tap into the general energy right now. We are in full moon energy at the moment. It's a full moon in Taurus. If you're watching this later though, then you are divinely guided to watch it at that time. So these are timeless collective messages. So don't let that sway you into thinking that there's nothing here for you. Because there definitely probably is if you're watching this later. The format of this one is going to be where I'm tapping into the general energy, and then I'm going to go into the different signs. And so we're going to get a little more specific for you. And with that, this is a collective message. So take what resonates and leave what doesn't. And with that, let's get into it. So we're going to get into the overall energy at the moment. Okay. So I'm going to take that as the first one. Popped right out there. Okay. So the main focus right now is... Well, I don't know if that's the main focus or if that's just a side note. Let's see. Let me flip through the cards really quick and then we'll see. What card just popped out though is the prayer card. And so it's in water, which is our emotional state. And so this might just be a recommendation to... pray a little more in whatever way that is for you. Praying is asking for, it's speaking to the divine. So it's asking for something from the divine. It's sending messages to the divine, asking for better health or, whatever that may be for you at this moment. It doesn't have to be like what, is traditionally think of as prayer. It can just be asking the divine for assistance in some way. Normally, that's kind of what prayer is. Or sending, good energy. It's more of an active sending message, to our contemplation or meditation is where we're listening and we're receiving. So, let's see. Is that the main focus? Main focus. Okay, so that could be the main focus right now is prayer. Yeah. Is that the main focus, Spirit? All right. So yeah, the main focus right now is going to be that prayer card. And within this card as well, we also have a little bit of the rainbow energy. And with rainbows, that's the energy of anything is possible. And so maybe that's something you're focusing on right now, is adding some form of prayer back into your life, or kind of amping up on it. And again, prayer can be in different ways. It can be in manifestation. It can be, a little like prayer box that just kind of came through. And down to even some kinds of spells can also be a form of prayer. And with that, I know spells kind of carry a negative connotation in the masses. It's one of those things where the vast majority of people who do spells or work with the elements in that, 90% work with it in a positive way, where it doesn't harm anybody. It's in a very high vibrational way. It's just that, 10% gives it a bad name. So that's just something to be mindful of. The next card that came out is going to be our lessons, blocks, and obstacles being illuminated at this time. And what just came through was the Ascent card. Let me see if anything else wants to come out for that. And recycle. Okay. Is that what to release at this time? Okay. So that's our third card. And then I'm going to go ahead and get our fourth card. What's the advice at this time, Spirit? What is the advice at this time? Perspective. Okay. All right, so the lessons, blocks, and obstacles being illuminated at this time is the Ascent card. And what we have here, it's in the air element, which is our mental space, thoughts, verbal communication, that kind of thing. And what it is he's standing on top of this mountain, which is also like a crystal mountain. And with that, the name of this painting is actually Rise Above the Jealous Mouths. I think that's the full name. But what it is it's pulling ourselves out of the energy of gossip and in that space where if somebody says something, we take it really personal. We, stoop to that level, so to speak, and then we say something back. It's that banter back and forth of just pulling on energy of other people, and it's that low vibrational kind of ego battle. And what this is recommending is when we rise above it and we are in a discerning energy, what we can realize is that a lot of times when people are saying things that are, little daggers, that's often a projection of an unhealed wound within them. And so it really has a lot less to do with you who's receiving that, stabby kind of communication. And it's really reflecting more on the other person and how they're feeling, how they're reacting to a situation. And so this is also really saying to just use your discernment and respond versus getting sucked into it and reacting. And it can be difficult to do it at first, but the more you do it and the more you're aware of what's going on, the easier it becomes to kind of just rise above it, and not in like a I'm better than. It's just you're pulling yourself out of that dynamic and just saying, I don't need to respond to this. I don't need to partake in this type of an energy. It's draining, it's low vibrational, and it doesn't benefit either person that's, any of the people involved. So what to release at this time? Okay, we've got recycle. And seeing what comes through as far as the interpretation of this. This is Patchwork Earth, I think. So with the recycle card, I'll go ahead and show it to you. It's in our earth element here, which is our physical experience. So that's going to be physical manifestations as far as, a house, physical belongings. It can be your career. It can be, your car, just whatever you're doing in the physical realm. That's the earth element. And so what we have here is, you can see that these hands are basically quilting from like these elements in this kind of galactic energy. And then it's forming into like Earth, basically. So what this may be is needing to release attachments to the physical experience in some way. So releasing the attachments to maybe physical outcomes, maybe releasing attachments to maybe the worry around the physical experience. It could also be, this isn't normally the card that I think of when I think of purging. It's a different card in this deck, but that just came through. So maybe this is a nudge to do some purging, do some like organizing, get your space a little more functional. If you've been putting off, an area of your home that's a little cluttery, maybe now is the time to kind of go after it. And then also with that releasing, I'm definitely getting maybe release some of the attachments to things that are concerning you in the physical realm at this moment. So if you're for instance, if you're looking for a job, release the attachment of finding a job and getting the perfect job, because when we're in that space, we're actually repelling it. And so maybe that's what this card is talking about at this time, is to release those attachments in that worry energy around it. And then that way you can fully attract it in. And then the advice at this time is the perspective card. And it is in the fire element. Oh, we've got all elements out here. That's cool. So fire is our spiritual space. And our connection with the divine in whatever way that is for you. Perspective, what this is really saying is there's something going on in your life right now that may feel a certain way. So it may feel kind of doom and gloom. It may feel intense. It may feel negative. And through a simple perspective switch, you can zoom out of that tunnel vision and see it from a higher perspective, see it from a zoomed out perspective, not such a, from your personal lens perspective. And oftentimes with the perspective switch, we can embrace and accept things in our life in a way that actually allows us to move through it a lot easier. So, anything else, Spirit? Nope. Okay, so now we are going to get into the zodiac signs. And with that, we are going to start with Earth. And we're going to go Earth, Air, Fire, Water. So with Earth, it's Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. And part of the main focus area of life is I'm going to pull a chakra card and see what chakra at this time is the main focus. And then we're also going to pull those same things. Main focus, lessons, blocks, and obstacles being illuminated, what to release at this time, and some advice. So what chakra are my earth signs focusing on at this time, Spirit? Which one? Nope, we're not popping out. There we go. All right, so we have throat chakra. Okay, so the throat chakra is in the throat area. The color is blue, and the mantra is I speak. So it's our self-expression and our sense of peace and balance. And so with this, you could be going through physical symptoms of kind of like a frog in your throat. It can be maybe a block in communication, maybe an over communication. You could be dealing with a sore throat at this time. Of course, with that, if you're having physical symptoms, definitely get checked out by a doctor, all of that. I'm not offering medical advice. But those are common symptoms when we are going through throat chakra activations. Then you will have physical manifestations in the throat space. So let's see here. What else is the main focus for my earth signs? Spirit, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. And you can have Earth in your Sun, Moon, Venus, even North Node. I like including that one. We tend to have every element in our chart somewhere. It's just some are more highly aspected than others. So go ahead and just take it if it resonates. All right, main focus for my Earth signs is getting into it. Okay. Are we taking all three of these? Okay. We have the perspective card again. Okay. So the main area of focus right now, so we've got direction, which is in air, so that's our mental space. And right here, it's kind of symbolic of spinning your wheels. And so it can be having so many options and not knowing which one to pick. And with this, with the throat chakra, as well. You could be having a hard time communicating your needs. You could be having a hard time tapping into what those needs are to be able to communicate them. And so really the advice here is get grounded and do some sort of kind of release. You can do meditation, you can do automatic writing, you can do a walking meditation where you're just like walking and observing and listening. But yeah, the direction energy for this card, it's very like head spinny energy. It's not knowing like, should we do this? Should we do that? Should I go here? Should I go there? Should I take this opportunity? Should I not? It's that real indecisive energy. And then we have perspective again, which came out for the advice for the overall energy. So I'll kind of I'll speak a little bit on it again. But perspective is being able to zoom out and get out of tunnel vision on something and look at the bigger picture of it. And then that way it's easier to make decisions when we see it from a different perspective. And this can also be tapping into that childlike perspective as well. And so if you look at certain things and certain options with the childlike perspective, it shifts the lens that we're looking at it from. And so if it's one of those like, I've just got too many options and if you look at it from a childlike perspective, it's, wow, look at all of these options that are available to me as an adult in this moment. Which one excites me? Which one do I want to go after? Which one lights me up? And then that's going to be the one. So that can also help get out of this direction energy, which is that real spin in the wheels. A lot of movement, but not much progress. And then we've got integration. And so with integration here, what this is pulling in all parts of the self. And sometimes we can actually enter into this direction energy when we are denying parts of ourselves and we're like, oh yeah, I'm going to kind of pretend that I never did that, or detach from a certain part of my life. And integration is really about pulling those pieces into one full being and accepting all the parts of yourself with love and kindness. And then you're able to step into your full self and into your higher self. And so right now that's the main focus that is going on. So let's see what lessons, blocks, and obstacles are being illuminated at this time for my earth signs. Lessons, blocks, and obstacles being illuminated. Okay, I don't know which one flipped. Try it again. Lessons, blocks, and obstacles. Okay. All right, so lessons, blocks, and obstacles being illuminated at this time is the Journey card, which is in the element of earth. And what this is a beginning of some sort. So this can be something like a new job, taking a trip somewhere. This can also be, especially with it being like obstacles being illuminated right now, maybe it's time to switch it up. Maybe you've been doing the same routine for, a very long time. And this is just a nudge to say maybe take a different route to work, go to a different coffee shop, kind of switch it up a little bit and add a little bit of newness in if you're kind of in this very regimented space of, doing certain things a certain way no matter what. This can be a call to switch it up. And then this can also be a call that something that's, being illuminated right now is the need to start a new beginning in an area of life. And then with the Surrender card here, this could be symbolic of attaching too much to certain ideals or outcomes, or it can even be physical belongings, and then surrendering that energy and those worries and those attachments to the divine. And then when you surrender, you'll be able to bring in new, like the new beginning over here. A lot easier with a lot less resistance. And so that's what's being illuminated at the moment. So what to release at this time? Okay. So the first card that came out for what to release at this time is the Descent card. Give me just a second. I'm listening on how this applies to what to release. So what this card normally symbolizes to me is, you can see here you've got some miners going into a cave and they're looking for gold. And they're looking for like little gold nuggets, and they're mining. And then what you see right here is this is the entire gold vein. And so they're looking for gold, little gold nuggets, and they're about to strike gold, like the entire vein. And so what to release with this? It came through. Hold on. Okay, release the worries around manifestation right now. What you want is coming. It's right around the corner. It's right there. And it's going to be more than what you could have ever dreamed of. It's right there. And so release the attachment to finding the little gold nugget, because with that, it might veer you off this way when you're being nudged to go this way and to strike the vein. To strike, that sounded weird, to strike the whole gold vein right here, the whole, gold mine, basically. That's what's coming in for you. And being overly focused on the gold nuggets and overly focused on needing to find it, it could actually be pulling you away from it. So release that need at this time, because it's right here. And if you just follow the guidance in the inner nudges that you've been getting already, it's going to lead you to this, because that's what you've actually been manifesting. And with receptivity coming in, this is symbolic of part of the attachment to this. Maybe that you are being bombarded by a lot of energies at this time, and that can be in different ways. Oftentimes what I think of is doom scrolling on social media, being in really crowded, busy places all the time, and not having that quiet time for the self. And even if that's a 15-minute walk, just something to push away those distractions and to get centered. And with that, if we have too much energy coming in all the time and it's mixing in with our energy, it's really challenging to listen to those little nudges and to get that intuitive guidance that we are being given at this time, because this is right around the corner for you. And so it's really recommended to do what you need to do in whatever way that is. It can be a singing bowl, it can be an actual meditation, it can be auto writing, it can be just taking an extra 5-minute shower with no music, no podcasts, no audiobooks, no nothing, where you're just quiet and you're not intaking information in any of your senses. As far as, media or other people or things like that. Okay. So What is the advice? That was kind of advice. Okay. All right. We're going to take both of those. So the advice at this time is to work on forgiveness. Okay. And so this is also in the earth element, which is our physical experience. But this is also really speaking of self-forgiveness. Oftentimes we get in this habit of beating ourselves up for things. And with that, it doesn't really allow us to step into our full potential. And so at this time, it's really recommended to look more into forgiveness. Forgiveness is something that when you forgive a situation, what you're actually doing is you're releasing an attachment to it. And so it's understanding that all humans go through trauma. That is a part of this experience. And by being able to release the attachment to it and forgiving ourselves for not doing a certain thing, not being a certain way, not handling a situation a certain way. When we release that and we fully come into this forgiveness space, it's the ability to let it go. So it's not affecting your your daily life anymore. And it's not saying the other person was right. It's not dismissing. There we go. It's not dismissing your experience. Thank you, Spirit. It's not dismissing your experience. It's not minimizing your experience. What it is it's the ability to come to grips with it, basically, and then to integrate it, which is this card that we have over here, which is the main focus. And with this forgiveness, you're going to be able to pull in this integration fully. And really integrate those parts of the self that maybe we wish we would have done a different thing, said a different thing, not been at a certain place at a certain time. Understanding that we can choose to accept that was our experience and forgive the experience for what it was, and to choose to learn from it. It's very empowering. And it's not saying it's okay that this person did this thing to me and I'm going to put myself in that situation again. It's coming to peace with what happened so that you can integrate and pull all those pieces of the self into a whole being without having it be kind of fractured. And you've got all these fractals over here on this integration card. And when we, don't forgive ourselves and we're beating ourselves up for things, that's what's keeping these little fractals from being able to fully come in and allow ourselves to be a full being. And then this separation card, so this is the advice card as well. And so separation here, this can often be, so it can be a literal separation. It can be, a big thing like divorce. It can be a move. It can be big things like that. It can also be a codependent break, basically, where we know a certain situation in life is coming to an end, but we're still holding on to it. We're still attached to it. We're not fully ready to let it go. And so Spirit right now is saying that the time has come. It is in your highest good to fully separate from whatever this is in your life. And don't deny yourself the feelings of it. And also know that it's time. It's, divinely orchestrated at this time as well for the separation to occur. And you're being given the choice for this to happen. And by choosing it and making that conscious choice to go through whatever separation this is for you in life right now, whether that's a job coming to an end, a relationship, etc., by consciously choosing to end that situation and then step into, your new beginning over here, it's easier and it's less painful to do it now. This is the card of, if you don't do it now, it's going to be a lot harder, and it's inevitable because your soul's outgrown something. And so at this point, by accepting it, forgiving yourself for whatever the situation is, forgiving the other person, or forgiving the, set of circumstances even, by doing these two together, it's going to make it so much easier on you in the long run, because by attaching to it and holding on to it and not wanting to separate and then refusing forgiveness in this situation and holding on to those attachments, if your soul's outgrown it, your soul's outgrown it. And if you don't fully pull away from it now and do the dirty work, so to speak, of just facing it and accepting it and allowing it to happen, it's only going to be very disruptive later on. And so that's kind of the advice coming through at this moment. Okay. So I'm going to pull one more advice card from this deck. And then let's see if there's a little more clarity for maybe what this could be, or maybe just an added level of advice. Let's see here. Wow. Okay. Okay. Alright, that's like, we really want to talkity talk. Okay. So the 9 of Fire came out, which is don't give up, protect that which you've created, have courage, and believe in yourself. And so that really goes in with all of these other cards that came out. The Ace of Fire came out, which is also the Ace of Wands in Tarot. So that is an exciting new opportunity, a career advancement, and change your life now. So yeah, I'm really getting that the time is now. It's now. You've been getting the nudges. You've been getting signs and synchronicities, and there just may be an attachment to something and not wanting to fully let it go. And the advice here is you've got the resources at your disposal to handle this. Your soul's ready for it. You've outgrown something in your life, and you've got new beautiful opportunities right on the horizon. And being able to fully go through this consciously at this time is going to lead to a better outcome and a better beginning to the new journey. The Knight of Water came out, which is falling in love or wedding proposals, the need to balance emotions, or an invitation to a social event. Okay, then we also have the Page of Fire, which is news of an exciting new endeavor. News of an exciting new endeavor. Use your originality and ingenuity. There we go. Words. Okay. Then we've got the Knight of Earth, which is time to buckle down and get things done. Honor your commitments, and also the sign of a guardian angel. So you're supported and protected in this right now. You've got the guidance. You've been getting the guidance. And so just, face it, move through it, and you're going to be thankful that you did. And then the 7 of Air is plans that need revision and more going on that meets the eye. So that could be with the separation card too. Is maybe to dig a little deeper. Okay. And I'm not taking those. That's too many. Okay. So does the Emperor want to come out? Okay, the Emperor was speaking to me as well. And so the Emperor has Archangel Michael on here. And the message is organization and logic, structure and discipline, and leadership. And so really step into that Emperor energy to help you get through this. Again, you've got all the tools of success at your disposal right now. And whatever the separation is, it's going to be worth it. Again, it's probably something your soul has outgrown and you've probably been getting nudges for a while. That's what I'm picking up. And the time is definitely now to buckle down and move through this. And on the other side of this is a beautiful new beginning. And so just know that. All right, Earth signs. That was awesome. Well, definitely keep me posted on this. I'm super interested to hear about what you're going through at this time. And know that you're supported. And just definitely know that. Okay. Alrighty, Earth signs. Thank you, thank you. Now we are going to move into water signs. Okay, so Earth signs, hopefully you're still here. I was guided to pause and do a little bit of extra glitter, we're going to call it. And so with that, basically this is turning into an all signs. And so I'm going to go through each Earth sign now. And I already pulled some cards just to shorten it up a little bit. And we're going to get a little more laser focused into each of the signs. And so if you've got heavy earth in your chart, maybe listen to all of them. If not, I will do the timestamps below and you can just listen to which one resonates for you. So we're going to start with Taurus. And what came out was, if you listen to the general earth message for the earth signs, these two cards came back out for you guys. So we've got integration and journey. And so this integration card, if you remember, was pulling all the pieces of the self into your being, and not detaching from parts of the self, not trying to ignore little bits of the self or pretend like certain things didn't happen, and really pulling it in to accept all parts of the self and allow yourself to show up fully. And then with this journey card, you're really stepping into a new beginning, or it's also the sign to shake things up in your daily routine. And maybe instead of, if you get up and you brush your teeth and then meditate and then do breakfast, maybe switch it up a little. Instead of meditating one morning, maybe go for a walk instead. And do a walking meditation, or maybe do a different type of meditation. If you eat the same thing for breakfast every morning, maybe switch that up. Take a different route to work, that kind of thing. And then the other one that came out for you, Taurus, is the Strengthen card. And so the Strengthen card is in fire. And what this is it's basically battening down your hatches in the spirit realm. And so this is calling upon all of your guidance and getting ready for what's coming. And this can be for this new beginning. It could be for something else going on in life, but it's really a sign to call in your strength and also remember how strong you are. Then I pulled a little mindfulness card for you. And the message here is, when eating, just eat. This week, when you're eating or drinking, don't do anything else. Sit down and take the time to enjoy what you are taking in. Open all the senses as you eat or drink. Look at the colors, shapes, and surface textures. Attend to the smells and flavors in your mouth. Listen to the sounds of eating and drinking. And so that's a way to just kind of bring some mindfulness into your day, and just sit and really, be with the act of eating or drinking. And with that, you can also bring in a little bit of gratitude, extra gratitude with that. And that'll just help you ground into the present moment as well. Okay, so we're going to go into Virgo next. So Virgo, the one that came out for you that also came out in the general earth reading was the Surrender card. So you're really being called to surrender at this time. And with that, the Strategy card came out, which is an air. So that's our mental space, our head space. And what this is saying is, if there's something that's coming up in life right now, to really sit and kind of give it some thought. Put pen to paper, draw up a plan, visualize what this next phase of life, and, you know, really get down to the strategy of something. Then the other one that came out for you was connection, which is in the water element. So that's our emotions. This can be a love connection. This can be symbolic of with the surrender card, actually, if you're calling in love, surrender the attachment to it and maybe strategize. And this is just if you're focusing on love right now, and that's the main area of life. Strategize what you want in a partner without the attachment to a person. So it's something like, I want my partner to be kind, to show up as a team player, to have my back in situations, to be, you know, enjoy my company and, you know, to laugh a lot with me, or, you know, those kinds of things. And get down to kind of the core essence of what you want in a partner. And don't attach it to a physical person. This can also be, if you are currently in a relationship right now, this can also be sitting back and maybe making a gratitude list of the things that you enjoy about your partner. When you guys first met, what lit you up about this person? Sometimes when we're in relationships, especially if we've been in one for a long time, it can be easy to take our partner for granted. And so it could be recommended at this time to really think about those things that you appreciate about your partner. And when you start focusing on that, you can change the entire dynamic of a relationship by simply focusing on those positive aspects and releasing some of the, you know, oh, they didn't take the trash out, or, you know, they forgot to text me when they said they would, and, you know, getting in that kind of annoyed energy. If you sit there and you go, I'm grateful for the way my partner shows up for me in this area of life. I remember how when we met and, you know, we used to laugh all the time. And when you're focusing on that, you will actually start to bring those things back into your relationship. Obviously, if you're in a relationship that is completely unhealthy, you know, do with that what you need to. These are just examples. And this can also be with this connection card. This can also be the connection with the higher self. So if you're not in a relationship, or even if you are and all is, you know, groovy, if you aren't looking for love right now, this could really be symbolic of stepping into this relationship with our higher self and allowing the higher self to come in more fully. And, you know, with this surrender card, that could be really what this is talking about as well, is surrendering to the higher self. And you'll notice in this card here, you've got this woman here who is holding, it's herself in her hands. And so what this really is saying is that this is your higher self, or, you know, the divine, the universe, and it's fully capable of holding the entire, you know, lower self, or the human self right here, and is fully capable of providing protection and guidance. And, you know, it allows you to release a lot of those worries and those attachments to, you know, the things in life that may be, you know, causing you stress at this time. And so really with this surrender card and the connection card coming out, that's what I'm really getting, is to surrender a lot of these earthly concerns to your higher self. Your higher self has got you all the time and wants what's best for you, and wants things for you that you don't even see coming. That's for your highest good. And so through surrendering, it allows these things to come in and miracles to happen in your daily life in ways that you couldn't even fathom. So, and, you know, definitely there's something in life right now that is calling your attention to be strategic with. So your mindfulness card is mindful driving. Bring mindful attention to driving. Notice all the body movements, car movements, sounds, habit patterns, and thoughts involved in driving. If you do not drive a car, you can bring attention to riding a bike or being a passenger in a car, bus, or train, or even walking. So that's just a way to bring a little bit of mindfulness in a practical way in your daily life. All right, so now we are going to move on to the Capricorns. All right, dear Caps, dear Cappy Caps, you have all earth elements in the 3 cards that were pulled for you. So earthy. None of the cards that came out were repeats of the ones that came out in the general earth reading. So the first one that came out was rest. And this is really a call to amp up on self-care and to allow yourself time to rest. Maybe it's time to take a day off. Maybe it's time to take an extra hour, nap. Maybe it's time to just sit and, be a human being instead of a human doing. But it's really a call to release and allow yourself to rest, which can be difficult, especially, at this time with all the energies going on. We're coming into the holiday season. If you're watching this, like in real time, these are timeless collective messages though. So if not, A-okay. But, if you are watching this right now with the holidays coming up, this is a busy time where there's lots of focus on doing and doing and doing. And this is really a call to be in whatever way that is for you. If you're feeling called to just rest and relax, do that. But this contemplation card coming out, this is a call to meditate or sit in a quiet space in whatever way that is for you. This can even be walking, something like that. With this rest card, I'm really kind of taking though that maybe it's, if you are going to do something, maybe do just a light walk. Don't, go full bore at this time. And obviously listen to your intuition and you'll know what's right for you. This is really a sign of receiving guidance and information from the divine, from your higher self. And this is also saying that if you have an idea right now, like an embryonic idea, don't tell a whole bunch of people about it. Give it some time to grow. And then the last one that came out was the generosity card. And with this one, this can be symbolic of either being more generous in life. Oftentimes for the spiritual beings that are on the spiritual journey, a lot of times this is actually the call to allow yourself to receive. So receive help. And with this rest card, that could be it too. Allow yourself to receive some help in certain areas of life, whatever that is for you. And so this is just a call to, either be a little more generous where you're able, and also to allow yourself to receive generosity from others when you're in that space of needing to receive. There's a time and a place for both. And so honoring and allowing that is just, it's a way to really honor the self fully. So your mindfulness card that came out is say yes. In this practice, we say yes to everyone and everything that happens. When you notice the impulse to disagree, consider whether it is really necessary. Could you just nod or even be silent but pleasant? Whenever it is not dangerous to you or others, agree with others and with what is happening in your life. Okay, so I did not read that one beforehand. With this, I would say definitely I understand the concept of this card, and I hope you do too. This, if you're in a place where you say yes when you mean no, I would caution not to do that. This is really what this is talking about is understanding when the ego self needs to be right about something. And so if somebody recommends something and you're like, I'm not going to do that because that's not right for me and blah, 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 blah. Instead of saying that and being kind of defensive about it, you can just like, oh, okay, thank you for the advice. You know, you don't have to take it, but you can also not get into a confrontation about it. And then yeah, so that would be more my recommendation with that, is maybe not say yes to everything. Because having boundaries is a good thing, and being able to say no when we mean no is a good thing, and being able to say yes when we mean yes is a good thing. What really I'm getting from this is to be more mindful when you're in that space of wanting to push back on something when it's not really needed. So yeah. Alrighty, Earth signs, we are done with your portion of the reading. I hope that you found something helpful with all of this. I hope it helps give you some clarity and some good little nudges of some advice. Alrighty, we are going to move on to air signs. I think earlier I said water. We are moving on to air. Let's see here. Okay. All right. Hello, air signs. Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. We are going to see what chakra is the main focus at the moment. What is the main focus for my air signs? Main focus for my air signs. Main focus for my air signs. That might be... Alright. Let's see. We're going to do it a little differently because there's only 7 cards. So let's see. Air signs. What chakra? Okay. Was it the throat? Okay. So I'm going to pull the throat one as well. The throat one was what popped out at first. So we're going to go with both of them. So the throat chakra could definitely be definitely an area of focus at the time. This was also what earth signs main focus was as well. So if you've got air and earth, then that could be a double confirmation for you at this time. With the throat chakra, the color is blue. It's in your throat area of your body. It supports your self-expression and sense of peace and balance. And so this is being able to communicate clearly without having to over-communicate. Which with air, oftentimes it's easy to stay in that headspace and then have an overactive throat chakra. So, or it can be underactive at the moment. Either way. That's just the main focus. But then the heart chakra also came out too. So there could be some focus on the heart space as well right now. And with the heart space, the color is green. And the frequency of the heart chakra is, it supports our capacity to love deeply and unconditionally. Its healing properties harmonize the mind and body. Something that just came through, one of my mentors told me this, and it really, really resonated. So when we're in the heart space, being able to love our family and our friends and those that we like, that is still actually coming from the lower chakras, right? So with the heart space, being able to open up to love unconditionally is being able to love your enemies. And that's, That's a whole ball of worms. But that's where we're really in this unconditional heart space, is being able to see an enemy basically as, you know, a teacher, as a different expression of ourself. So maybe there's something like that going on, because that just really came to the surface. So with that, we're going to get some more confirmation here. What is the main... Those are going to be flippity floppity upside down. Okay. What is the main area of focus for my air signs? Main area of focus at this time, Spirit. Okay. Okay. One more. No? Maybe? I heard, yeah, one more. Okay. All right. So the main area of focus at this time, the first one that came out is Trickster, which is in air. The Trickster is symbolic of having all the tools at our disposal, and also it's a beginning of some sort. And this is also the concept of, if you want to make the divine laugh, tell your plans, basically. So it's kind of that concept of like having it, having your future charted out, and it's going to be a certain way, and then your soul comes in and is like, maybe not. So there could be something going on right now where it's a kind of a shakeup, a new beginning. Maybe you thought that your life was going to go this way, and it's actually pivoting and going this way. And the easiest thing for you to do in this space is to release your attachment to the outcome. So whatever that is for you right now in this new beginning, just know that it's for your highest good, and this switch up is happening for a reason. With that, the next one that came out was Intuition. And so this is in water, which is our emotional space. And right here, she's dream journaling. And that really spoke to me. So maybe this is a confirmation. Maybe you're having vivid dreams at this time. And write those down. Something that's very important in our dream space. So dreams talk to us in symbols. For instance, if you're dreaming about water, which, this is in water. So if you're dreaming about water, that is your emotional space. So if you're dreaming about water and it's very, it's the ocean and it's choppy and it's murky, that is symbolic of your emotional space. You might be having some emotional turmoil at the time. And oftentimes air signs can kind of disconnect from the emotional space a little bit. And so there definitely might be something going on here where you're needing to look more into your emotional space at this time. And with that, in dream realm, on the flip side of that, if you're dreaming and you're, in water and it's very calm and it's clear and it's just a very serene experience, then that is symbolic of your emotional peace or ease at that time. But with this, I'm really getting it's coming through as a suggestion for somebody to start writing down your dreams. And once you start writing them down, a couple things will happen. One, you will start to remember your dreams more. The other thing is you'll start to recognize certain symbols and patterns that come up for you at different times. And then that way it's a way to communicate with your higher self, with your soul, with the divine. And it'll just be easier where you wake up and you're like, oh, okay, I had a dream similar to this. And the times in the past when I dreamed about that, it's because I'm ignoring this in waking life, or I need to put some attention and focus on this. And then this is also just, saying you're getting intuitive hits at this time, and to listen to it, trust it, and know that it is guiding you in the right direction, basically. The other one that came out was forgiveness. And so this is in Earth. But with this, it can be symbolic of forgiving another person. It can also be really symbolic of forgiving the self. I'm seeing if there's anything to cue in on that. So maybe you're just in this space where there's kind of a shakeup in life right now where you're switching directions and you're getting the intuitive nudges to support you on this. And forgiveness of something, this can be a heavy trauma healing work. So if you're doing that, then this is confirmation. And it's also just kind of a sign to forgive yourself and forgive those who have hurt you or wronged you. And it's not an excuse. It's not excusing the behavior. It's not excusing that person. It's not diminishing your experience and dismissing it. What it is it's allowing yourself to release the attachment to those experiences so that you can get more in touch with your intuition. You can get more in alignment with the self, and it just will lead to a more peaceful experience. All right, so what lessons, blocks, or obstacles are being illuminated at this time? Interesting. Okay. Anything else? Lessons, blocks, or obstacles being illuminated? No? Okay. Okay, so the card that came out for this is Direction. And with this card, what it is it's spinning your wheels, basically. So it's being in that headspace where I call it the head spinny space. But basically where it's like we've got so many options and so many ideas, and I could do this, or I could do that, or I could go here, I could go there. And it's this so many options and so many things going on, but we're actually not making any forward movement. And so that's what's being illuminated at this time, to release and let go of. And so when you find yourself in this space, it's really important to ground. And then it's also helpful if you write down all of these options and then read through them and see, especially with this intuition card coming out, see which one lights you up. So if you feel that hit in the solar plexus especially, and it excites you, that's the one. If it... on the flip side of that, sometimes if it scares the shit out of you, that's the one. And with this intuition card coming out, you're gonna know. And so this is just coming up at this time to say this spinny headspace and having so many options, and maybe it's doing a bunch of things in daily life that make us feel like we're being productive, but we're actually using it as an avoidance tactic or technique so that we don't have to, take that kind of leap into what scares us a little bit. That's actually what we want to do, that we need to be doing for our future progression. An example of this is if you are starting like an online business and you find yourself doing the laundry and doing the dishes and reorganizing this, and I'm laughing because I totally have done this and I still do it. But if you find yourself doing all these things during the day and you're like, well, I was really productive, but it's because you're avoiding taking that step in like starting your business or moving it forward, that can be how this energy shows up in our life. This can also be if you're sitting there with your partner or your friend or somebody, and you're like, well, what should we do this weekend? We could do this, we could do that, we could do this, we could do that, and you spend 2 hours talking about all these options, and then you realize that nothing has been planned out. There's no direction. It's, well, we've got 50,000 options, but we don't have any freaking idea of what we're gonna do. That's that kind of energy. And so this is what's coming up to be released at this time. And, you know, I don't know if really released, but this is what's being illuminated, that you're in this space at this time. And, you know, it's recommended to kind of shift out of it a little bit. Okay. So what actually to release at this time, Spirit? Not my air signs, but do my air signs need to release at this time? That's kind of a lot. Am I taking all of these? Okay. I don't know how to take that. Hold on. Okay, well, I'm just going to start explaining what this card normally symbolizes to me, and then it may come through of what is being recommended to release at this time. Okay. So we've got 3 water cards, which again is our emotional space. So there's something in the emotional space that's coming up to be released at this time. With this Innocence card, what this is symbolic of is when we first come in this human experience and we're a baby, we go through kind of that amnesia process. Oftentimes, you know, when we're infants, we still have that connection with the divine, and we don't fully kind of like go through the actual amnesia part till we're a little bit older, like toddler years. But that's a side note. What this is really symbolic of is when we are an infant, we don't know how to work our human body yet. So we don't know how to walk. We don't know how to, you know, do a lot of things, hold our head up. And so what this is what needs to be released about this, Spirit? This is also symbolic of a Zen beginning. And so it's where we go through an awakening and then we realize we don't know anything. Like we do, but we don't. It's this space of, it's a totally new way of seeing everything. And so maybe it's releasing emotions around this experience right now. Maybe it's releasing the emotional aspect of being in this space. And maybe there's some fear around it. You could be going through that Zen beginning at this time, and it could be a little bit unnerving because it feels like I don't know anything. You know, who am I to teach anybody anything? Because I don't know anything, because now I'm awake to this entire experience. And so maybe it's a call to release that kind of fear around that energy. And I'm gonna say this because we have 2 of the baby cards. There's only 3 in this deck, and 2 of them came out back to back. So if you are pregnant or attempting to conceive right now, it could be a sign to release any worries or attachments to that process. And so that's just a little side note for somebody, or maybe a select few of you. But because the 2 baby cards came out back to back, there could be fears around pregnancy. Maybe if you have a child and you want another one, but that pregnancy was hard, or the birth was hard, or it went a different way than you were expecting. This could be a sign to release those fears and those worries around it. And, you know, with this card out here, to surrender all of those fears and worries to the divine at this time, because right here you can see that she's holding, you've got her higher self holding her full human self right here. So you can fully surrender to your higher self and you will be in good hands. You know, you'll be in the best hands, basically. So that's a side nugget for somebody. If that's like what's actually going on, is there's some fear around conception or you know, becoming a parent. The other thing that could be going on is the expansion is also, it's symbolic of actually creating space for a human being, but it's also creating space for birthing a new project, idea, business, anything like that. Birthing something new and creating that, that expansion space. The womb needs to grow in order for the baby to grow. And so there could be something going on. There could be some limiting beliefs going on right now of this expansion process, and surrender it to your higher self. Surrender it to the divine. Do your best to release those fears and those worries at this time. It's, again, surrendering to your higher self and to the divine is, you're literally never going to be in better hands. So yeah, that's what I'm getting with that. And if you are expecting or attempting to conceive at this time, congratulations, and I wish you the best of luck if you're attempting to conceive. It's an awesome journey to go on. What advice for the air sign, or even birthing new businesses and just new things in life? That's such an awesome place to be. Advice. Oh, okay. So you remember how I said there's literally 3 baby cards? Guess what just came out? The last baby card. I've done many, many, many readings with this deck. And I have only ever had one other reading where all 3 baby cards came out in one reading. So there is definitely an air sign that is expecting or will be expecting very, very soon. And again, you can have air in, you can have an air sign in your sun, moon, Venus, rising. And then I also include like the North Node. I think that's pretty significant as well. So take that as it resonates. This is the last baby card, and this is quickening. Unlike the other 2, this is in fire, and so this is in our spiritual space. And what this is really symbolic of is, so it's quickening, which there's this period of pregnancy where it's literally called the quickening phase of pregnancy, and it's where the baby's getting ready to come. It's I think it's in the 3rd trimester. It's been a while, so I forgot exactly. But it's really when that baby starts, like, you can really feel the baby, and the baby is like on the way. And so this quickening process happens of, it can kickstart the nesting process of needing to get everything ready, and this baby's really coming, and this is really happening. It's this natural thing that happens. What this also means is all of these puzzle pieces here, this is saying that the divine is putting these pieces of the puzzle together for you. And so surrender and allow the divine to do the work, because you attempting to shove these little puzzle pieces in here is only interfering with the process. And so allow this to unfold naturally. This is something that takes place naturally. It's not something that you need to focus on and do an effort. This just happens. And so it's saying, especially in the advice section, allow the universe to put these pieces of the puzzle together for you and surrender it. Surrender so you can allow this to happen, because the divine knows where those puzzle pieces go without any effort. The other advice card that came out is renovation, which is also in fire. But what I get with this one is, this is also a very physical card for me. And this is saying, it can literally be renovating a house, or it can be, doing the work. So you're digging in, you're purging, you're, moving stuff around, those kinds of things. And you've also got Mars energy in here as well. And that pops out to me every now and again in this card, so that's probably symbolic for somebody. And then you've also, you've got double fire element going on in this card. And so there could be a call, maybe to do some fire meditations, work with fire, that could be really healing for you at this time. Then you also have the Harvest card. And the Harvest card is literally like he's picking the golden apple. This is, this is that energy of you've done the work and now you're reaping your reward. And so being in the advice spot over here, what I'm taking from this is to allow this to come in. Oftentimes if we're so focused on it and like looking at it and wondering if and when, we're blocking it. And so especially with this surrender as well right here, through surrendering, you're going to be able to pull this in and reach for that apple. Like the apple's going to fall into your lap kind of thing. So just know that this is your harvest time, which is super, super awesome. This is your harvest time, and you're reaping the rewards of all of the work you've put in. And so just know that, this switch up over here that's going on, it's leading to your harvest. It's leading to your, massive reward in whatever way that is for you. So that is beautiful. This was really, really great energy, air signs. I'm so excited for you. Let me know in the comments below, especially like for those of you that are expecting. Let me know. That's super exciting. For those of you who are birthing other things at this time, let me know too. This is an exciting energy to be in. This is really fun. So with that, do your best to pull out of this head spinny energy. And otherwise, this is awesome sauce. So air signs, I'm going to do some extra glitter here in a minute for you, where I'm going to go through each of the signs and dig a little deeper. So for you, it'll be 10 seconds, but I'm going to clean this up and we'll get into each of the signs. All right. Okay, so we are going to dive into each of the air signs. So we're going to start with Gemini. And the 4 cards, you guys actually had 4. I normally go for 3, but you guys had 4. So the first one that came out for you, Gemini, was the Stuck card, which is in the water element, which is our emotions. You can see here there's a spider web on here. And so there could be a sticky situation going on in life right now where you feel trapped. But what this Stuck card is it's also, if you look at this card, her reflection is right here, but she's looking away from it. And what it is it's really symbolic of a conscious choice of being stuck. And so that sounds kind of weird, but what it is you're at a stuck place in life, and it's more of choosing not to look at it that way that is keeping you there. It's by understanding that you're in this space in life because you're choosing to stay in that space. And with that, I say that from a place of love because I've done this numerous times. And so the next card that came out was Perspective in the reverse. And what this is symbolic of is it's taking on too much responsibility for an outcome. And so with that, with the, like, being stuck and then choosing to take on all of those burdens, what it's really doing is it's just perpetuating this cycle of staying in this space. And the other one that came out in reverse was Journey. And so there could be something where you're needing to step into a new phase in life. You're needing to make a decision to change something, to start a new beginning, but there's resistance around it. That's what I'm picking up. There's resistance around a new beginning of some sort, and it's because of this stuck energy. It's because we're perceiving it as something that is out of our control, that we can't change, when really you've got all the elements at your disposal to to take this new beginning, to take this step, and to start this journey in whatever way that is for you. With the contemplation card coming out last, what I'm getting is that there's probably an embryonic idea that you have at this time that maybe you're not realizing is like the idea. And so the recommended course of action would be to sit with that idea and to get excited about it. Don't share about it at this time with a lot of people. If you have somebody that you know you can share this idea with that will give you, you know, some really good energy around it, maybe do that. But really the guidance that I'm getting at this time is to sit with that embryonic idea that you have in a silent place of, you know, you can go into an actual meditation, or you can just kind of like write about it. Hold it close to your chest at this time and allow it to grow a little bit. This is the idea. Whatever that is for you, you'll know. This is that new beginning. This is that thing that is the next step for you on your journey. And with this perspective card, oftentimes what's helpful is when we're in this stuck energy especially, is if you put on different glasses basically and you look at things from a childlike perspective, it can help pull us out of this stuck energy. And so if you're looking at it and you're like, well, I'm in this stuck place and I can't do anything about it, and so on and so forth. If you look at it from a zoomed out perspective and you sit in a quiet space of some sort, whatever that is for you, the intuition and the nudges and the guidance is there for you at this time. And so really the recommended course of action I'm getting is to sit with that embryonic idea that you have, allow it to grow a little bit, and shift your perspective on what's going on in life just a smidge. And then you'll pull out of that stuck energy, and then you'll be able to step into that new beginning very quickly. Then I pulled a mindfulness card for you. And the mindfulness card that came out for Gemini is Notice Smells. So during this week, as often as possible, become aware of smells and fragrance. Several times a day, try sniffing the air like a dog. If there are not many smells in your environment, you might try creating some smells that you can detect. You could dab some vanilla on your wrist or boil some spices such as cinnamon or cloves in water on the stove. Okay, so yeah, you know, and sometimes it's doing something kind of like that can help shift you out of that stuck space as well. Is, you know, how often do you go around, you know, your normal day and like, you know, sniffing? So that could be, you know, a helpful little tool to kind of pull you out of your you know, stuck space at the moment and help shift your perspective. And, you know, like, oh, I just smelled a random flower, or I just smelled a random, you know, this smell or whatever. That also, it helps you be present and in the moment. And then it also can help you shift out of this energy as well. So good luck, Geminis. You've got this. Let me know what your ideas are when they've grown a little bit. Yeah, I'm super interested in that. That's awesome. Okay, now we are going to go into Libra. So Libra, the 3 cards that popped out for you is we have Quickening, which came out in the general air sign portion of this. And this is where the universe is putting the pieces of the puzzle into place for you. And so there's a lot of work being done in the background that you don't have to focus on at this time. There's also Expansion, which is creating room for something to be birthed, whether that's an actual human or whether that is, it could be a new pet, it could be a business, it could be, you know, a new career, it could be a new home. It's creating that space for what's new to come in. Then we also have the creativity card coming in. So you could be embarking on a creative endeavor at this time. And if so, really tap into that creative space and keep allowing yourself to have the space to create. Maybe this is a nudge to give yourself more time and more space to create with. And then also know that the universe is putting those pieces together for you as well. And so if you're worried about like creative inspiration at this time, don't be concerned about it, because the universe is coming in to help you out big time right now. And then your mindfulness card, Libra, is loving touch. Use loving hands and a loving touch even with inanimate objects. So this is really about being mindful with your with your hands, basically. Like use gentle, loving touches to your water bottle and be very appreciative of, the water bottle and the invention of the water bottle and the fact that they're so easily accessible in today's world, and, how great it is to be able to just have water at your, disposal all the time. If especially if you're fortunate to be in a place where you can do that. So that's your little mindfulness suggestion for this time. And now we're going to get into Aquarius. So Aquarius, I think both of these cards came out in the general air reading. I know they came out in the earth reading as well. But so we've got forgiveness here. Yeah, this came out in your guys' general. And then surrender. So, there's definitely a focus on forgiveness at this time, whether this is forgiving, other people, whether this is forgiving yourself, or whether this is forgiving situations for happening. It's really about diving in and releasing the attachments that not forgiving basically holds on to. That kind of came out weird, but hopefully you understand what I'm trying to say. With that, surrendering makes this process a lot easier. So definitely do a little more conscious work on surrendering at this time. It's just going to make this whole process of forgiveness a lot easier. This is big work. And so I commend you for doing it. And, surrendering to your higher self and to the divine is really, really going to help you at this time. The other card that came out for you is immigration, which is in the air element. So that's our mental space. And I wanted to read this little bit out of the book for you. So it's Native American wisdom, where it says, never judge a man until you've walked 2 moons in his moccasins. So basically what this card really means to me is it's taking 2 separate halves of the self and pulling it together. It's also talking about walking in another person's shoes to gain a different perspective. So with this forgiveness card coming out, I'm thinking that might be really what you're going through right now is maybe there's somebody who hurt you in the past and you're having trouble forgiving them. If you can, and this is, going to vary depending on the level of trauma, the experience, etc. But if you can take a moment to put yourself in that other person's shoes at the time to try and understand why they may have done what they did, it can help come to an understanding where then you can release that. Again, this isn't about excusing behavior. This isn't about bypassing it, downplaying it, dismissing it. What it's about is it's about fully being able to understand it and ultimately to release it and surrender it. And so that might be something that you're going through right now. And again, this is big work. It's not always easy, especially to understand from, a different perspective on how somebody could have done something so hurtful. But when we get to this place where we go, okay, this person was acting out of their own wounding, it becomes a little easier to forgive it, in the sense of being able to release it from our experience. And so really what it is it's understanding that a lot of times when people do hurtful things, it's because they're hurt in some way. And so either they're repeating patterns that they learned, or they're projecting from a wound. They're something in them got triggered, so then they turned around and, did something hurtful, said something hurtful, and just being able to understand how that works. And that oftentimes when somebody does something hurtful, it's out of their own wounding. It's really more about them than it is about you. And again, this isn't excusing behavior. This isn't putting yourself in these situations again. What it is it's about being able to release it and surrender it so that it no longer has the control over you. And so that's ultimately what I'm getting here. And I commend you, Aquarius. This is very life-changing work. It really is. This is where, when you're able to fully do this, you can step into a whole new you and show up in the world in just a different, more authentic way. And keep your boundaries. Definitely, don't drop the boundaries when you're going through this. Those boundaries are there for a reason. And it's good to have boundaries. So yeah, let's get into your mindfulness suggestion for the week. Rest your hands. Several times a day, let your hands relax completely. For at least a few seconds, let them be completely still. One way to do this is to place them in your lap and then focus your awareness on the subtle sensations in the quiet hands. Oh, that's cool. Okay. So yeah, that's just a little recommendation to bring some mindfulness into your daily life for the next day or two. So yeah, put more awareness into your hands and intentionally relax them. That's really cool. All right, Aquarius. Well, I commend you. You're doing awesome. That's big work. So definitely, let me know in the comments if this is resonating, because that's awesome. You got this. Alrighty, so now we are going to shift into fire signs. So up next is fire. We've got Leo, Sagittarius, and Aries coming at you next.